don't think I've ever seen more doomsaying than in the environment around Riot's MMO. In fact, right now, you wouldn't believe it, whenever I talk to anyone from the gaming audience, the vast majority of the people believe that the Riot MMO has been cancelled. This stems from the fact that in the past Riot announced the reset of the MMO, after which everything's been quiet. But of course, if you pay attention to the MMO's development, you would know that the team working on the Riot MMO currently is absolutely stacked full of talent. We are talking about veterans from all kinds of successful MMOs. And today, we'll even point out a new addition. But also, Mark Merrill himself said publicly that they want to release the MMO before 2030. So yes, only 4 years to go. And people still have no idea that the game might even be coming. Well, the truth is that while I feel confident that we will see the MMO one way or another, it is undeniable that Riot is fighting an uphill battle the entire time. It is a battle that simply keeps claiming all of their rivals. And very recently, there's some news that came out about this. You see, in case you are not an MMO person, currently the king of all MMORPGs still remains to be World of Warcraft, that is taking into account both the retail version and all the versions of Classic. But while the second one in line was always confidently Final Fantasy with Guild Wars somewhere behind that, surprisingly against all odds, old school RuneScape started climbing up, and now they are pulling off some big numbers once again. This started working to such a level that WoW started teasing they might do a similar thing in the future. By this, they pretty much told us that something might be happening at BlizzCon. Anyway, outside of these established MMO titans, all the dedicated players have always been waiting for the next big MMO to destroy everyone else. And from the list of upcoming MMOs, 3 rose above the rest. There is the Riot MMO that might still be the most hyped up MMO on the market. But right next to them there was always the Ghost MMO, which was led by the former lead of World of Warcraft as well as the former lead of the Riot MMO. And then, of course, there's also Ashes of Creation, a really big MMO project that originally started on a Kickstarter, where they did get about $3 million from funding, after which this became the game that showed the most promise when it comes to evolving MMORPGs. And so, it was these 3 games that together stood for the future of this genre. So why is it all dead? So, in case you missed it, the Ghost MMO was eventually shut down. That is after the investor stopped being confident in the project and the studio was not able to find a new investor. And so, long story short, the Ghost is gone. And yes, they also had quite a lot of really good talent. The big culprit here could be the fact that when this game was shown to people, those who played it said that it's okay. And that was kinda it. But then, when it comes to Ashes of Creation, well, that's where the news come in. So, for quite some time, Ashes of Creation actually was in a playable alpha or beta, whatever they called it, meaning that the game was actually playable. As to what degree the playability was there, well, that's another question. For example, from the general feedback, you can tell that people really liked the combat. That's where this game really felt like an evolving MMO. However, all the social features and the progression wasn't good, which was always the key selling point of this MMO. They were supposed to have advanced features all across the world, and even though this is just a testing phase, people have been testing this for many months and nothing happened. And so, Ashes of Creation actually gave us an update on January 29th. To our glorious community, Ashes of Creation exists because of you. Every tester who logs in reports a bug and challenges us to do better. This world is shaped not just by our developers, but by the people who believe in what Vera can become. We know that some of you are frustrated right now. We feel that. You've been candid about the issues impacting your experience, and you deserve clarity and honesty in return. The concerns we hear the most clearly include the impact of real money trading, bots and cheating on fairness and progression, PvP and corruption systems that don't yet feel consistent or fully realized, issues surrounding caravans, crates and risk versus rewards gameplay, content and system bugs that interrupt gameplay, performance and stability problems that pull you out of the world. These are not small things. They touch the core of what Ashes of Creation is meant to be. A living, player-driven MMORPG where your time, effort and choices matter. We are actively working on these areas and many of them are deeply interconnected. Solving one often requires structural changes across multiple systems. That work is underway. So in short, yes, the team knows that the game is kinda crumbling, but they did tell us that there is gonna be an update on February 13th. Now, as to what that update is gonna be about, no one has any idea because the game is falling apart. Because a day later, mass resignations came in. And so we got a message from Steven, who was the lead producer of the entire game. I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity, and not on behalf of the company regarding the situation. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I would not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign in protest, rather than lend my name or authority to decisions I could not ethically support. Following my resignation, much of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notice and proceed with a mass layoff. People love this word in today's economy. I cannot responsibly speak to further details at this time due to ongoing legal and governance matters. What I can say is that the developer and staff acted in good faith and deserved better than the uncertainty they are facing now. I am incredibly dismayed by the situation, Steven Sheriff. So yes, it is now almost certain that Ashes of Creation is going down too. Which is kind of funny because on their original Kickstarter they did mention that should the MMO not launch, they will give people full refund. So yes, I think everyone is certain that the MMO will come out, even if it is crumbling. But overall, this also means that MMORPGs just don't have a good record. If you ask me, I do believe that's because people now appreciate more of the old school designs. You know, treating MMORPGs like classic old school RPGs, kinda similar to Baldur's Gate. That's one of the reasons why that game went big. Because that's actually what both World of Warcraft as well as RuneScape boil down to. I don't think people want an MMO be a live service Fortnite Battle Pass. And so now the question remains, how does Riot stay in this? Well, Riot answered by getting another high-profile person to help them with the MMO. In fact, we are talking about Reynold Bartos, also known as the good guy Ray from the Plunderstorm, aka the previous lead producer of World of Warcraft. So yes, we're not just talking about anyone, this is another big dog. And the announcement came from his tweet. I'm incredibly excited to be joining Riot Games on the MMO team. From my very first conversation with Riot, I immediately gravitated towards their values, and I was genuinely impressed by how clearly those values showed up throughout the interview process. I made it obvious that kindness, respect and care aren't just words here, but something the team truly lives by. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to join such an inspiring group of people, and I can't wait to get started. Showing up every day to provide value for Riot Games and help deliver an MMO experience players truly enjoy. And as a fun bonus I've been barely able to contain, I'll be re-queuing with my longtime duo partner, Orlando, who was also previously at Blizzard. Given our track record on World of Warcraft, I have a feeling we'll be moving fast on day one. Special note, I am very grateful for all of you who have reached out on my last post in direct messages. That was the post where he announced that he was leaving Blizzard. The recruitment process was quite fast. And so, right now, his position on the MMO is a senior game producer, meaning that he stuck the landing on another really important role. If anything, this really solidified the stance of the Riot MMO. Because while everyone else is crumbling, because the MMO is getting more higher positions, it means they are now committed with the dedication to this game. And as a result, right now, the Riot MMO stands as the single titan that is still waiting for its release. Everyone else was already shut down. And so, we can be certain about one thing. As long as we keep seeing more gacha skins, we will get the fundings for the Riot MMO.